about your house getting broken into? You see that? Damn, man. You can't make this up. You can't make it up, man. Right? Y'all see yourself right here? You ain't even look. Right?
Israelites.
Verse 10. Their bull gandereth and faileth not.
Right?
Their cow calveth and casteth not her calf.
Right? What is it saying? Right? What is that going into? Meaning what? They don't have to worry about jobs. Right? They got that. All these corporate buildings and stuff, who you think at the top of them? Right? The so-called white men. Who you think running all these different networks, TV networks? Damn sure ain't us. Right? And if you say Oprah has her own TV network, how you think she got it? Who you think gave it to her? And what do you think she had to do in order to get that? Right? And we see what happened with Bill Cosby when he was trying to get his network. And he probably didn't get down with one of the things. Right? Y'all got ministry to work to the Lord? Yeah, y'all can't talk to me, sisters. Alright, I'm doing alright. I'll be doing better if y'all listen for 2 minutes. Y'all Israelites, y'all God's chosen people. Right? Alright, sister. And oh yeah, Bill Cosby, man. Right? All those allegations came out when he was gonna do what? Purchase that TV network. I don't know if it was NBC or ABC or which one it was. Right? But all that stuff happened when he was gonna do that. Right. Why? Because he probably, they probably wanted him to go. They probably wanted him to go further than he already went, man. And he said, man, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. So guess what? Now his ass locked up. Right? All those reports and all that different stuff. See, that's what they do. They have you do dirt, man. So then, if you don't want to get down with what they trying to, with what they want you to do on the agenda, they blackmail. All right. Well, you don't want to do this. All right. Yeah, we got you. Right? Read on.
They send forth their little ones like a flock.
Right?
And their children dance.
They send forth their little ones like a flock, man. Right? And they dance. How many times we have seen these Edomite children walk up and down this sidewalk today with their families, man? Right? All these Edomites got their families and stuff with them. Right? They having family fun day. Friday family fun day. FFF. Right? Read.
Verse 12. They take the timbrel and harp and rejoice at the sound of the organ. They spend their days in wealth.
In what?
In wealth.
And in a moment go down to the grave.
He said they spend their days in wealth, man. We don't spend our days in wealth. We spend our days in poverty, man. That's right. Right? We spend our days in the slums. We spend our days running from our own people, worrying about our people killing us. Then on top of that, we got to worry about the so-called white man killing us, man. Right? That's how we spend our days, man. We're sorrowful and longing with our eyes all the day long, man. Right? That's what we do, man. But guess what? What these other nations do, guess what? They're not worried about a damn thing. Even with all these different stuff going on, man, they still not worried about nothing. They worried about damn abortions. Abortions is the worst thing in their eyes to happen. Abortions, right? And that's mongoloidism. Mongoloidism is sick, man. Right? But they look. Hey, do y'all worry about your houses getting broken into? Nah. That's 3 for 3, man. 3 for 3. I feel like Steph right there. Right? You see yourself on the sign right here?
Sorry, I don't speak English.
No English?
No.
Alright, we're gonna fire it.
Music?
Hold on real quick.
Your music?
You said, huh?
I need the music.
Yeah, you got music.
Yeah.
You want to hear some?
Yeah.
Alright, give me Deuteronomy 28, 68.
Deuteronomy 28.
This is some music. Right?
Deuteronomy 28, 68.
Bring it on!
The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
You know what that word Egypt means? What? It means bondage, slavery. Right? What the?
What the hell?
the music start coming up, all hell. Right? Well, we're not done. Right? We still singing. Right, read.
Corinthians.
In Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Wait, ship.
Right? See, he's singing along. Right? You listen? We got to start over now. Now we got to sing again. Right? Come on, we hear it sing.
And the Lord
Shall bring thee into Egypt. Into Egypt. Into Egypt.
What?
Again.
Again with what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
I said the Lord shall bring us into Egypt again with ships. Right? That's talking about the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Hey, Adonia. Hey, can you stand over here about the son? Right? It's talking about the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right? That's talking about your people. Then your people go into slavery.
My people are almost gone.
Your people go into slavery. The Hispanics. Right? So that would be talking about the conquistadors.
Whole tribe.
Right? You ever heard of conquistadors?
Russia.
It's all good. Where the flowers that got the
I don't think Tyler got him.
only one brother got the Hispanic.
He took off.
Right? The point is, you God's chosen people. Okay, you God's chosen people. Okay? All right. You believe in Bible? You believe in this?
What's this?
Biblio. God. God. Right? You believe in God? Right? God called you an Israelite. You're God's chosen people. God loves you. I've been aquí.
Are you Muslim?
You said, huh?
Israelitas.
No. Real quick, type in, actually you gotta, it's an app on the iPhone. It's an app on the iPhone it's a translation app.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Go to the real quick.
My phone dead.
They're trying to tell you something. Or maybe you don't need to go. I need to go. They set up. They volunteers. ISVC.
You, what's your nationality?
I'm Blackfoot Native American.
Blackfoot
My dad
Native
had a
American?
nigger heart, I was taught. He
You
had
said,
the right,
huh?
he had the right ventricle of a nigger heart, I was taught. I grew up with a lot of races. I grew up with a lot of Mexicans. I hate races. That's what this is.
What's your father?
Huh?
What's your father?
Mostly Italian.
Mostly Italian?
Mostly Italian.
Okay.
I'm German. My ancestors were freedom fighters.
You German?
I got German, Bulgarian.
And you said mostly Italian. Yeah, you definitely not gonna make it. You the ones that crucified our kings.
Yeah?
Yeah, you
What
put
if I
our
don't
king to
believe
death.
that? I think we
I
came
mean,
from one
you can believe whatever you want to believe at the end of the day, but you're still not gonna make
But
it.
I'm Blackfoot
Your
Native
people are the one. You just said
So
your father was
technically,
mostly
I
Indian.
became
I mean, mostly. Hey, but
So
you gotta make sure the words of the
became
Lord.
what? You have to be Native American, and your father has to be Native American. So
Check.
he has a right ventricle. Is that precedent limit?
I'm gonna ask you this again. I'm gonna ask you this again.
Yeah, my tribe is
Right,
almost
your
wiped
father.
out.
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Your father, you said, is mostly Native American.
He has a right ventricle.
Hold
of a
on,
black
I'm not
man.
asking you about.
Yes, I'm listening.
Right. Just listen. Bear with me. All right, you can't say. Is your father Italian or Native American?
He doesn't trust the federal government. so
I didn't
he's
ask you that. Let your yay be
My
yay and your
father
nay be nay.
identifies as he. He is a
No.
child molester. Yeah, convicted. That is tough.
What's your father's nationality?
I don't know because he doesn't trust the federal government as much as I do.
So you lied like 8 times.
I didn't lie
First you
once
said
to you.
you
I would
black.
never lie to you.
Then you say your father's mostly Italian.
He has a right ventricle of an African American.
I don't give a damn. Just look.
But
You can put
But you
this
get
brother's
this
heart in his body.
So when
He's
did I
still
lie to
gonna
you?
be an Edomite.
Right.
Still gonna be a so-called white man.
That's right.
Right? Because you just said, because earlier you
I never
said.
lied to you.
You're taking away the word.
Ask me a question.
You're putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm not.
I didn't
You
ask
said
you
your
a
father
question. I
was
haven't
mostly
asked you one
Italian,
question.
and you said that you was black.
Channel that
You're not
anger.
gonna make it.
Channel
They
that
just got
anger.
deemed
I am making it.
Satan. Give me
I've been
Isaiah
arrested by U.S.
60
Marshals
and
4
12.
times.
And somebody give me Isaiah chapter 54
channel that
and verse 2.
Correct.
That's
I want Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 2.
Swallow.
Bring it out.
Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 2.
Bring it out.
Enlarge the place of thy tent,
Right?
and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitation.
Read.
Spare not, lengthen thy cords,
Uh-huh.
and strengthen thy stakes.
Right?
For thou shalt break forth on the right
It
hand
said, for thou shalt break forth on the right hand, and you are standing on my right hand, sir. Read.
and on the left.
And on the left. So this Edomite that's walking down the street right now, guess what? We're gonna break forth on the right, so I'm gonna put my foot up your ass. That's right. Then I'm gonna break forth on the left and put my foot up his ass. That's right.
And thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles.
Guess what? My young princes that I'm bringing forth in the earth is gonna inherit you. And your forefathers, and your foremothers, and everyone that come after them.
Good.
Like that. So we dismissed, right? Don't be a fool like that, kid. You're gonna deal with our brother. Oh, you got it. Okay.
If you can, I need to sing. You can this
Say, huh?
sing?
1 minute.
Margaret, so it's talking off the tree. I've never met a woman that's talking about that. I like black people.
You gotta push the button.
Oh, he's Arabic.
I'm from Palestine.
Palestine.
Palestine,
Different country in Israel.
a different country in Israel.
That explains that.
Alright, so you are not a Hispanic. Okay. Yeah, no more singing for you. Yeah, no more singing for you. Hey, so this applies for you, right? Bring this back up.
Isaiah 60 and verse 12.
Right,
Get
no,
out.
no, you had it, dog. Well, so and then we're gonna bring that up.
Isaiah, what you want?
Isaiah 54. And
Isaiah 54 and 3.
Bring it out.
For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left,
right?
and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles.
Hey, guess what? Our seed is gonna inherit your people, right? Y'all had us in slavery,
Bring it out!
right? And you had us in slavery, and you killed our king. You killed our king. I don't give a damn how much your mother is a Blackfoot, right? She got a chance to make it. You have no chance to make it, right?
My whole tribe wiped out. There's a lot of black people. We came from one tribe.
On your mother's side or your father's side? See that? I ain't got nothing for you whatsoever at all. Right? It don't matter what you can do. It don't matter what you can do. You did lie. Right? Give me Isaiah chapter 27 and 11.
You tell me, give me a minute. I never sing.
No. No more singing.
Isaiah.
No more singing. No more singing. Right? No more singing. Yeah, singing's over. We was going through the song of Moses, you know, and you said, huh? You wanna? Do you love our people? Do you love our people?
Yeah, I've been volunteer for Black Lives
Would you?
Matter
And do you?
for- I haven't seen my kids because of
Ask you shit about your kids.
you
All right?
all, but it's the point. Why are you angry at me?
Why am I
My
angry?
tribe is
I'm-
almost completely gone.
That's not your tribe.
It was
That's your mother's
rewritten
tribe.
just like the Bible was
She had you
rewritten.
by accident. Now look,
No, she did not have me by
do
accident.
you love our people though, right? Would you believe in the Bible? You believe in the Bible?
Damn.
Do what?
You believe in the Bible?
No, I believe in many gods. I identify as Native American. You already asked me that. Wow. Yeah, but so you guys are different religions combined.
No,
ISU,
we're not.
PK, Zeth,
First of all,
One
we
love,
don't
it's an
got.
eight.
First of
The
all, we don't
Antwerp.
got nothing to do with
the
ISU.
Yolandi.
Bring this up.
As African.
We're not African either.
Yeah. I'm Blackfoot Indian. My
No,
great
you're
grandmother
not.
till she
You're
was
not a
106
Blackfoot
years
Indian.
old. My great grandmother lived till she was 106 years
Your
old. She's
great
Blackfoot
grandmother
Indian.
would be ashamed
You
of
know
you.
that and learn something.
She would be ashamed of you. Right? Right? Hey, Johnny. Hey, brother. You got 2 minutes? Hey, come on, brother. right? We got Italian men and Palestinians that got more time. Our people don't got no time.
Right.
No time for the Lord. Don't nobody got time for the Lord, right? That's why the Lord said, to whom shall I speak knowledge? Right? But somebody give me Hosea chapter 11 and 12. Right? Hosea 11 and 12. Somebody give me a Beckett 23. And give me Hosea 8 and 11 too.
Hosea 11 and verse 12.
I saw it good. He already.
11 and verse 12. Ephraim compassed me about.
No, I don't know. You already saw it. Give me 8 and 12.
Of Isaiah?
Hosea 8 and 12. Matter of fact, you get it.
Hosea 8 and verse 12.
Bring it out.
I have written to him the great things of my law, but they were counted as a strange thing.
Right? He said, but they were counted as a strange thing, right? Our people count the scriptures, the Bible, giving 1 minute unto the Lord as a strange thing. That's why don't nobody ever got time. Because they count it as a strange thing. They think that it's something that's esteemed as not good. Right? What's going on, family? Hey, family. Hey, brother, you got 2 minutes, brother.
I appreciate you guys.
Come on, brother. 2 minutes, brother. Brother, you guys chosen people, okay? You gotta repent and keep the commandments. Right? Right? Drop everything. It don't even matter. Give me 2 Ezra chapter 9 and 1. 2 Ezra 9 and 1. Give me Luke chapter 21 and verse 28.
2 Ezra 9 and verse 1.
I thought that was
And it reads,
I want
Luke chapter 21 and verse 28.
Bring it out.
And when these things began to come to pass,
Right?
then look up.
Then do what?
Then
Look up.
Read.
and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh.
Said for your redemption draws now. What is it talking about?
Write me
those
out of the
things?
yellow like
All right,
side.
brother. What's your nationality, brother? See
Israelite.
that? You said what?
No, that was me.
You're not, brother. You're not, brother. You're an Israelite, brother. Read that again.
And when these things began to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh.
Right, and what are those things talking about? The pestilence that's coming forth on the earth, the fire, the destruction, the earthquakes, the tornadoes, right? All these different things that's formulating throughout the earth. A nation rising up against nation, kingdom against kingdom, right? Seditions among men. All these different things that's rising in the earth. Guess what? Those are the times of the signs to where we know that. Guess what? Hey, brothers, are they working? Yeah, 2 minutes.
I do not. I'm so sorry. I got to run as soon as I get back to work.
You good? Right, you guys chosen people, brother. Sister, you got 2 minutes. Sister, you got 2 minutes. All right, sister. You guys chosen people. We Israelites. We gotta repent, keep these commandments. But these are the times, these are the signs of the times that we gotta understand and know that we living in the end times. That we're cut for our redemption draws not. When you know these different things, when we know these different things, guess what? That don't mean, oh man, we in the end times. You got a lot of people that feel that way. If you ask some people, they'll say, yeah, we're living in this. We're almost in the end of the world. And the first thing they say is Revelations. Now, hey, the book of Revelation is not the only book in the Bible that talks about the end of the world. Right? Talk about the end of the world all throughout the scriptures. They talk about the end of the world in the book of Genesis. But you got to understand and realize, okay, now that I know that we're living in the end of the world, what do I do next? What is there for me to do? Right? But nobody never get that far. They just say, man, we living in the end of the world, man. Revelations, my grandma always told me about Revelations, but nobody know what they're supposed to do. Right? Finish up.
Fine. 2 Ezra 9 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
Right.
And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before.
Right, the part of the signs that are past that the Lord has told us before, the things that we mentioned earlier. Right, the destruction coming upon the earth, the forest fire. I forget what what state that was, but it was just a damn forest fire, man. And the whole mountain literally looked like it was on fire. Right? Maybe. Right? You know for a fact? Right? So, right? In California, right? They had the whole mountain was damn on fire, man. And you had Edomites out there, they had their chairs, they set their chairs out and was just watching. Right? And that looked like, that's like somebody real quick give me Revelation 8:8. Read Revelation 8:8.
Revelation 8 and verse 8.
Bring it out.
And it reads, and the second angel sounded as it were a great mountain burning with fire.
As in a what?
Great mountain
Burning with fire.
Hey, brother. Hey, brother. Hey, brother. You got 2 minutes? You guys supposed to give you an Israelite. You got to repent or the Lord is going to utterly wipe you out. Right? Read.
burning with fire.
Right? It said a great mountain burning with fire. Read.
Was cast into the sea.
Now, that's what the scriptures say now. You got a Christian pastor there say, oh, see, that just happened the other day. Right? The mountain was on fire. Right? That's how these Christian pastors would describe that. Right? But what is this burnt mountain talking about? This burnt mountain is talking about those missiles, man. Those ICBM missiles that's going to come forth towards America, man. And that's going to get shot off in this war to come. Right? You got Russia getting ready, they're getting ready for America. They done already sent multiple threats, and America is starting to show their pride. America's starting to show their pride. How they showing their pride? Russia told them not to send no more artillery and different stuff to Ukraine. America said, man, F you. We're going to send it anyways. Right? So it's only a matter of time. You got Iraq and Israel, right? China's still going at it with Taiwan. It's only a matter of time. Like I always like to describe, right now it's like, you know, like when you was in school or something, or you was older, or in the club or whatever, and people, they arguing back and forth, then they get closer and closer to each other, right? But when you was a toddler, right, y'all stood up in each other's face, and one pull their pants up like this, and they y'all stand in each other's face, and say, you ain't gonna do shit. That's what's going on right now. But sooner or later, ain't nobody gonna get in between them and break it up. What's gonna happen? And somebody gonna do that first push. And then after that first push comes, then what's gonna happen? That swing gonna come next. What's gonna be that swing? Those ICBM missiles that's gonna get dropped. Right. Right? Read on. Or so that's it on that, right? Go back to what I had here.
Second Esdras 9 and verse 2.
Bring it out.
Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world
Which he made.
which he made.
Right? It said, visit the world which he made, man. And you see these different things, man. Right? Read on.
Therefore, when there shall be seen
Right?
earthquakes,
And we got an earthquake down there every other day. There's an earthquake out there. Right? You had an earthquake a couple weeks ago that literally killed over 1,000 people. Right? Read.
and uproars,
Uproars of the what? The people. Right? What uproars of the people that's going on? This damn abortion stuff, man. Roe versus Wade. Those are uproars of the people. Not only that, you got then you still got the famine coming on the rise, man. Right, you know?
of the people in the world. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee.
Right, it says the Most High spake of those things that were before thee. Right, hold that.
Second Timothy, the epistle, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
This is the truth, a true saying. If
Right, it
a
said this is a true saying. Man, this is not something that you can't take to the bank. You can take this to the bank. And how do we know we can take this to the bank? Right? And know that we're going to get something for it? Is because everything that the Bible speaks of has what? Came to pass. It's either came to pass or you can see it formulating to get ready to come to pass. Right, Reed? So what's some of those things?
if a man desire the office of a bishop,
Right?
he desireth a good work.
Second Timothy.
This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come.
It said in the last days, perilous times shall come. What that word perilous means? Destruction.
Right.
Right, in the last days, perilous times shall come. And those times are coming upon the earth right now before your eyes, man. Dangerous times that we living in. We living in a times where what? You can go to your local food market and hey, you might see an Edomite with a damn AR-15. And if you see an Edomite with an AR-15, and ginger heads are going extinct.
They are, you're right.
Yeah, they are. Right? All praise to the Most High. That's actually a real thing. Ginger heads really are going extinct. Right? But hey, your whole race as a nation is going extinct. Right? Hold that. I know I'm jumping from topic to topic. Go to Obadiah 1 and 3. Right? Start at verse 2. Right? Because the Edomites is literally, ginger is redheads. That's what they call themselves. They literally going extinct. Right? Y'all got a minute to hear the words of the Lord? 2 minutes.
I'm sorry.
I said I got a minute to hear the words of the Lord. We not Muslims. You got a minute? You believe in the Bible? Okay. What would you call your nationality? Yeah. Are these your kids? Okay. So if your daughter came to you and said, "Mommy, what's my nationality?" What did God call me? What would you tell you? Hey, see, so see that, but wouldn't that isn't that something that you want to tell your daughter what the Lord called her?
Okay, I'm listening.
All praise to the Most High. Let's get down to it. Daniel chapter 9.
Daniel 9 and verse 8. And it reads, O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face.
Right, it says to us belongeth confusion of faces. Right, read it.
To our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers.
Hey, this is a beautiful thing to see right now. All praise to the Most High. God.
Shalom.
This is a beautiful thing, man. All praise be to the Most High, right? So, right, read on.
And to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee.
Right, because we sinned against the Most High God. Right, read.
To the Lord our God belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him.
Right, it said, though we have rebelled against the Most High, read.
Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God,
right,
to walk in his laws.
So walk in his laws,
which he set before us.
Now real quick, I'm gonna stop right here, but we're gonna keep going. I want to ask you a question. You tell your daughter to wash the dishes, right? And you at work. You say, by the time I get home from work, them dishes better be washed. And you get home from work, them dishes not washed, there's gonna be some type of consequence or discipline, right? That's the same way it is for the Most High when it comes to us, right? The Most High God gave us what? Laws. He told us what to do and what not to do. I'm pretty sure you got the same thing in your household, right? In your household, there's certain things you can do, and there's certain things you cannot do in your household. Right. Guess what? She got to abide by those things, right? Watch this. Hold that. Give me Deuteronomy 8:5.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, and verse number 5.
Bring it out.
And it reads thus: Thou shalt also consider in thine heart.
Right, so it said, thou shalt also consider in thy heart, meaning your mind. And you got to think about this, read.
That as a man chastiseth his son,
the same way a man would chastise his son, read.
So the Lord thy God
chasteneth thee.
That's the same way that the Lord is going to chasten us. Why? Because he's our Father at the end. Right? Now let's go back to this.
Reading on, which he set before us by his servants, the prophets.
Right? Talking about the law, statutes, and commandments, which he set before us, the law, statutes, and commandments, read.
Yea, all Israel.
All who?
All Israel.
Have transgressed thy law.
Right?
Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
Right? So it said all Israel has transgressed the law, even by departing, right, that they might not obey his voice. Right? So, real quick, we're going to keep going, but if I had to ask you, what people, right, what race of people on the earth do you feel like are cursed in this society? What people are cursed? What people would you say? You said, huh?
The people that look like us,
right. Well, I agree, but we can't just say people that look like us, because the East Indian man can be just as dark as us, right? The Arab man can be just as dark as us too. So it ain't just people that look like us. But I know what you mean though, right? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, so-called minorities, right? You know?
Therefore, the curse.
So what?
The curse.
The what?
The curse.
Read.
Is poured upon us.
Right? They said, therefore, the curse is poured upon us. It's talking about a specific group of people. It's not talking about the whole world. Right? Is the whole world cursed? Is everybody living cursed? Nation-wise.
I mean, when you say nationwide, I'm thinking around the world, thinking of all the
Yeah, you can think about it. You can think about the world.
There's a lot of
We can get to the world. If you go to Europe, what people gonna be in the slums and in the ghettos? Our people. We ain't the same. This ain't the only country in which we in the ghettos and in the slums.
That's right.
Right? You can go to Europe, you're gonna be in the slums and in the ghettos. France, Australia, China, Canada. Right? And we got brothers in all those places that I just named. Right? And guess what? We still the same ones that's in the slums and in the ghettos. That's not saying. You said, huh?
I see, like, when you look at Africa, you see beautiful things there as well. You know,
Right.
like, it's not just always we're in the slums.
You think that Africa is your homeland?
I don't.
Oh, so why you bring that up?
I just, because they're people of color.
Well, remember, we
They
can't
don't
go
appear-
by color though.
I'm saying they don't appear, you know, to be
Oh, you're saying that they don't appear to be doing bad?
right.
Well, I mean, they not the same as us though. So I would agree with that. Because do you think you have relations with Africans?
Me personally, I mean, I can see why we're considered G descendants. I'm not from Africa. I don't consider myself African per se.
Well,
But I can see why maybe I have some ancestors that are from.
we need Exodus chapter 7. Get the conquer politician. Right? And somebody else give me and somebody else give me Amos 1 and 9. I'm gonna just combat politician. Right? I'm about to show you something because a lot of people would think that and y'all can scoot up to y'all good, right? We all family here, right? And a lot of people would say, oh, we're African, and we're African American, right? One, that term African American was just brought up in the 80s, 1986, if I'm not mistaken, to be exact, by a man named Jesse Jackson. So you will have people that's older than their nationality. That makes no sense. Right? And it's the last name of two so-called white men. Leo Scipios Africanus, he conquered the land of Ham originally, which is now called Africa, but he conquered that land and then he named it after himself. America comes from an Italian map maker named Amerigo Vespucci. Right? So I see you know that. Right? He mapped out the land of America, now they call it after his name. So when we say we African Americans, that's not true. Right? When you go into an ethnicity or a race, that's a bloodline of people you descend from. Not, oh, I was born here, so I'm this. Right? Because a Chinese man can be born, a so-called Chinese man can be born in Africa, that doesn't make him an African.
Right.
At the end of the day, just because he was born here, that don't make sense. Right? He's an African Chinese man. That don't make sense. Right? So it's not about where you were born.
Anyways.
It's about what
Whenever I first saw that, I was like, that's cool.
right? And we
Are you like, I'd be pretty
so-called Africans. Right?
Johnnyville Compact Bible Dictionary.
Bring it out.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons who lived through the flood. He became the progenitor.
Now, a progenitor means the father of, right? So he became the father of the progenitor, read,
Of
The dark races.
dark races,
not the Negro,
not who?
Not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes, read.
but the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites.
Y'all want any waters? Well, sure, y'all good? Want any water, sister? Okay, I'll pray. Right? So it said the Egyptians, right? The Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites, right? So-called African nation, but not the Negroes is the point. Because we don't, even the scholars know that we're not the same as them, right? And I always love to say, if we the same as them, how come when we got off the slave ships, they didn't call us Africans?
I don't know. I ain't never heard of that.
What they call us when we got off the slave ships? Negroes. It's the first thing they call us. Why? Because they know we're not the same as them, right? Even actual Africans know that we're not the same, Right? That's why they treat us different. That's why they look down upon us. Because they know we're not the same as them. Now watch this. Bring this up. Amos 1:9.
Amos 1 and verse 9.
Bring it out.
Thus said the Lord, for 3 transgression of Tyrus, and of in 4:4.
Right? Tyrus is an ancient African nation. Right, read on.
I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
So the Lord said he's not turning away the punishment of these people. Why?
Because they deliver up the whole captivity.
It said the whole captivity. Now, you ever heard, before we keep reading, you ever heard of the phrase of, when people talk about slavery, they say, oh, but y'all sold yourselves first. Y'all was already selling yourselves before we came over here. You never heard that? A lot of people tend, and not our people, but other nations, they tend to say, y'all was selling yourselves before we even came over here and got you. Right? They get that from Shalom, kids. Shalom. All praise to the Most High. You got beautiful family. Beautiful family. Stay safe out here. Continue to endure, brother. All praise to the Most High. Right? All praise. Shalom, kids. Shalom.
Shalom.
Right? All praise. So, the Lord, oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. People tend to say, and it's like, real quick, bear with me, real quick, like 30 seconds. And see, remember we had a brother earlier that he knew he was Israelite. He had no time. He said, all praise to the Most High, and he knew. Right? And then they didn't say nothing, they didn't have no credit, he just came up here and just gave his father all everybody. That's beautiful, man. That's why he had. Right? So, I just have to say that, but the point I'm bringing the scripture out is because you got people that say, look, y'all was selling yourselves already. The Africans were selling each other first. That's not true, right? Because we're not the same as them, right? And the Bible is going to prove that, right? Bring this up from the top of your notes.
Con, thus said the Lord, for 3 transgression of Tyrus, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
Right?
Because they deliver up the whole captivity to Edom.
It said they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom. Now, Edom is the biblical nationality of the so-called white man. You got to realize, everybody on the face of the earth has a God-given nationality. The Lord never called anybody European. The Lord never called anybody African. The Lord never called anybody Asiatic or white man or Chinese. Right? These are all new terms that have come into the earth. The Lord already named all the nations, all the people. They didn't just evaporate off the face of the earth. No, they renamed themselves. Right? Who did a lot of the renaming? So-called white people. Right?
Whole captivity to Edom.
Now I said they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom. They're talking about Tyrus, which is I know I'm saying a lot. Stay with me though. Yeah. I know it's a lot going on, right? So Tyrus, an African nation, they delivered up the whole captivity of the Israelites to Edom, the so-called white man. That's a prophecy that's going into what? Africa, transatlantic slave trade. Right? The transatlantic slave trade was done between the so-called Europeans and the so-called Africans, which is really Hamites, Canaanites, Libyans, Ethiopians, people of Tyrus, those ancient African nations. And they did a deal with the Edomites, which is so-called white men, for guns and spices. And you can look these things up in history also, right? And when that deal got done, they delivered us up. So the Africans delivered us up, the Hebrews, Israelites, up unto the so-called white man. The so-called white man brought us to this land that we on right now. Right? So just put that down in the Bible. Now watch this. Bring this up.
Exodus chapter 11 in verse 7.
Bring it out.
But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue.
And then nobody can speak up against the children of Israel. Right, read?
Against man or beast.
Right?
That ye may know how the Lord do put a difference.
So put a what?
Put a difference.
Meaning they're different between who?
Between the
Egyptians.
Between the Egyptians, which are the ancient Africans, read?
And Israel.
And Israel, which are the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans make up the 12 tribes of Israel.
That's right.
Is the point of what we telling you. Right? So the point is, right, on that point, we're not the same as Africans. We're not the same as them. So earlier you was like, oh, they're doing good over there. But yeah, but they're not the same as them. Right? Us, on the other hand, we're not doing too good as a nation of people. Now, I know you got some people, they get, you know, they got their good jobs or their corporate jobs, and like live in guys or farm more or whatever the case may be. But as a nation, guess what? We're still down at the bottom. We're at the bottom of the totem pole as a nation. Right? Our poverty lines is dreadful. Right? In every society that you go into. Right? I keep reading on the book of Daniel. I believe he's up there. 14.
Daniel reading on in verse 11. They all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing that they might not obey the voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us.
Right? The curse is poured upon the Israelites. And I asked you earlier, I said, what people would you say in the earth are cursed? You said, us. Right? You said color, but I know you meant us though. Right? That's because a curse has been poured upon us. Has been poured upon us as a people. Why? That's the $1 million question. Why are we at the bottom of society? And I'd love to ask you, I'd love to say, are you for your people? Did you say you for your people? You would like to think you are? So we're going to show you how you can be for your people. And in order for you to be for your people, you got to know who your people are. Right? You got to know the history of it. You got to know how to get your people out of the situation that we're in right now. Because everybody seems like they got the answer. Or they like to feel like they got the answer. They say, oh, we got to do this, we got to march. We've been marching for over 400 years. Ain't nothing changed. Been marching in place. Right? They say, oh, we got to get bills signed and legislation formed. Guess what? We've been doing that. Ain't nothing changed still. They audit. When we ask for some stuff, what they do? They say, here, man. You know, you ever had you got an older sibling, right? And they keep begging you for something. They're like, man, here, dang, here, man, dang. You want to know what that was? I know you know, right? You see that? Like, here, man, dang, just take it, man. You want to know what they did that with us for? Juneteenth. We kept saying that we need this, we need that, man. We've been getting treated bad. And they say, you know what, man, here, man, dang, here. I got y'all a little holiday. Now leave us alone. Right? That's all that was.
Madness.
A holiday is not going to change what's going on with our people. And people flock to that. They're like, yeah, we finally got our own holiday. What that mean? We still getting killed in the street.
Okay.
You said, huh?
No, I felt the same way in terms of I wasn't there.
Yeah, like, okay, you got us a date, right? And then that's a smack in the face, right? Just like what is it called? Black History Month. First of all, they gave you the shortest month of the year, and then right after that month, what they got? Or not right after that month, but 2 months after that, if I'm not mistaken, they got what? Pride Month. And they do more stuff for Pride Month than they do for Black History Month. Right? They advertise Pride Month more than they advertise Black History Month. I can't even get on YouTube without getting an ad about damn Pride Month. Right? So these different things, at the end of the day, are not doing nothing for our people. Right? Nobody knows what the answer is to get our people out of the situation that we're in. In order to get yourself out that situation, you got to know what puts you in that situation. You understand? So now let's see what put ourselves in that situation.
In the oath that is written in the law of Moses.
Written in the law of Moses.
The oath that's written in the law of Moses. So now let's go to the law of Moses and see what was written about our people that we didn't follow. Bring it up, chapter 28, start at verse 15.
Bring it out, bring it out.
8 and 15. And it reads, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses.
All these curses.
All throughout the Bible you hear about curses. Curse people, curses, curse this, curse that. Right? Hold that real quick. Give me Malachi 2:2. Malachi 2:2. Right? All throughout the Bible you hear that word cursed.
Malachi chapter 2 and verse 2.
Bring it out.
If ye will not hear, And if ye will not lay it to heart to give glory unto my name,
Right?
saith the Lord of hosts, I will even send a curse,
A what?
a
Curse
Read.
upon you.
So all throughout the scriptures you hear about the Lord saying that he was going to send a curse upon who? The Israelites.
All right.
His chosen people. You good, you can walk it. Against the Israelites, his chosen people. Because remember earlier, like I asked you, your daughter don't do what you told her to do. There's going to be exactly, it's going to be a consequence. Same thing for us. The Lord, the Most High God, he the Father. Who is he the Father of? His people. Who is his people? The Israelites. Right? We're going to prove it. Right? But that's it on that. Right? Let's go back to the law.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Right? You remember what Moses said? He said, basically he said, look, if you do the things that the Lord told you to do, hey, you'll be blessed. If you don't, you'll be cursed. Right? You understand that? So now let's see some of the things that's in the scriptures, or that's in this chapter alone, and let's see if they pertain unto us as a people. Follow me. All right.
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
All right, we answered that already, right? We're the ones that's cursed in the city, right?
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
We all know who was cursed in the fields, right? Go to 54.
54 of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother.
Say his eye shall be evil towards his own brother. What does that sound like to you? At one point in time, our people used to show love towards one another. Need anything? How you doing? How your family doing? Everything all right? That's how we used to show love towards one another. Now the Lord said his eye is going to be evil towards his brother. Okay. All right, what does that sound like?
To me, it sounds like
Yeah.
that's what sounds like to me.
Yeah, you're not wrong, right? But what else? What else? Let's get a little bit deeper. Like who? I want to know who is talking about. Who does it pertain to? Right? What else does it sound like you have an evil eye towards your brother? You're not wrong, either. Right? Yeah, you got our people, they envy each other. Right? They want to do better than their own people. Right? And they, in order to do better than their own people, they willing to drag their brother down. So that their brother can't get above them. Right? Or they envy him like, man, how come he got a scat pack? Right? How come he got that? How come he got this, that, all these other different things? Right? Or you got a lot of people, man, how come he got that? Man, you can't handle that, man. That's off. Right? But our people do those different things. Right? Also, when you turn, are you from here? Where are you from? If you don't mind me asking.
From the Pittsburgh area.
All right. Oh, okay, from the Pittsburgh area. What's one of y'all news channels? You said, huh?
KDKA.
KDK? Oh, KDKA. Okay. So when you turn that on at around 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock news, or 11 o'clock news, what are they talking about? That's between who? You know.
I don't even want to say it.
Nah, it is. No. So-called black on black crime. Yeah, so that's why we say so-called black man or so-called white man, because the Lord never called anybody that. So we say so-called. But if we say they real nationality, you ain't gonna know who I'm talking about. Like if I say, man, the Moabite man did this and this and that, you ain't gonna know who I'm talking about. Unless I tell you. Right? But you're right. They speak on so-called black on black crime. Right? In this neighborhood, right? What's one of the bad neighborhoods? Right? What's one of the bad neighborhoods?
And I'm like, nobody's thinking twice about it.
It's a bad area. Right, north, south is north.
There's a place called the Hill District.
The Hill District, okay. So in the Hill District, right? A lot, pretty sure probably a lot of death and stuff, right? So, hey, more than likely, who is that between? Our people. Our people. Right? That's what he's talking about right here. Right, we don't?
Towards the wife of his bosom.
And it said, not only are they going to have an evil eye towards their own brother, but towards the wife of his bosom. Meaning what? We don't treat our women correctly how they're supposed to be treated. right? We pimp them out, warm them out, call them all type of B's and O's, right? We put twerking on top of cars on the pedestal, right? You don't have men out here nowadays. Well, you do got men out here. We doing that, and other brothers that's out here doing the same things. But the majority of our people, they're not teaching our women how to be women, right? Or the ones that are being women, they're not being sought after, right? Who is our people seeking after? The ones that's in brothers and tiki bobs on top of the counter, shaking their behinds, right? That's his scheme on a high level nowadays. Why? Because the earth is out of course. Everything is flipped. It's backwards. Right? You know?
And towards the remnant of his children.
It said, and toward the remnant of his children. Right? Read?
Which he shall leave.
Which what?
Which he shall leave.
What people on the earth know for leaving their kids? And that's in the Bible. We read out the Bible. Right? King James Bible. Right? Can everybody relate to that? All the so-called Chinese man can relate to that?
Well, I thought you meant
Oh, well, no, I mean, I know y'all can, yeah, but I'm saying, as far as nations of people, right, and we're not saying that there's no so-called white man on the earth that's never left their kids before, right, but majority as a nation, right, as a race of people, everybody knows that they make proverbs about it. So proverb is just like a saying. Like, they be like, where'd your dad go? Get some milk again? Right? And then he never came back. You said what?
people, like what we see black men being arrested and incarcerated. So I don't think that it's necessarily just them legal.
Oh, well, it's not. Watch this. Give me Isaiah chapter 42 and 22.
Isaiah 40.
Give me, you got it.
Isaiah 42 and 22.
Bring it on.
But this is a people
Robbed and spoiled.
Right? It said this is a people robbed and spoiled. Right? Talking about the Israelites. It said this is a people that is robbed and spoiled. Right? Robbed meaning what? We've been robbed of everything. We've been robbed of our land. Right? Our heritage. Our nationality.
Right.
Our wealth.
Right.
All these different things we've been robbed of. Hell, we get robbed of our people, our kids, our lives.
That's right.
And it says spoiled, meaning what? Rotten. Not spoiled, meaning we get everything we want, but going back. We've been destroyed as a people, read.
They are all of them snared in holes.
Snared in holes, meaning traps are set about in the earth for our people. Right? A lot of people like to say, no, y'all get the same opportunity as we do. No, we don't. Right? We don't, and I'm pretty sure you know this and understand this. She's not going to get the same opportunity as her down there, right? No matter how we want to look at life and want to make life better, she's not going to get the same opportunity.
Right.
Right? Our children are not going to get the same. We're not going to get the same opportunities. Why? Because this is not our place of rest. 1, 2, this is not our kingdom. Right? But read. This is the point that I want.
And they are hid in prison houses.
It said, and they are hid in prison houses. Right? So earlier, you was making a point, it's not just, they leaving. Yeah, a lot of them, guess what? They in the penitentiary. They getting locked up. Unjustly being locked away. Man, what was them brothers who, them brothers in New York. Where they got wrongfully accused and lost like 20-some years of their life.
Talking about the ones that got accused of rape.
Right? So all these different things, right? All these different things that happen, right? Hey, that's a part of the curse system. Being wrongfully accused, right? Whether are people growing up in single-parent households, whether it be because the father left them, or whether it be because they got locked up in a chain gang, because they got snares and holes and traps set around them. Not only that, you go and get a felony or you do some time in the penitentiary, you get out. Guess what? Now it's hard for you to pick up a job because you got stuff on your record. So now guess what? You got to go through that same cycle. And all you trying to do is provide for your family, but now you kind of got to get your hands dirty a little bit maybe, or you working 100 times as hard as these other nations now.
Right.
Because why? Now you're at a disadvantage. Why? Because you was born into a disadvantage. Oh yeah, that's bad. Institutionalized. I personally know people who are like that. It is bad. Like it's really it's scary almost because it's like they can't. They just that's messed up. Say hold on, real quick.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 65.
Bring it out.
And it reads thus. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
Right? It says we shall find no ease as a people. And our foot, we don't find rest. Right? We don't get time to be able to just take 3 vacations a year, 4 vacations a year. Now, if you can do that, all praise to the Most High, I can manage. But the majority of our people, we can't do that. We got brothers that ain't never been out of the, we got people that never, country, state. We got people that ain't never left. They just here. Right? Everybody can travel out. Right? You got people on house arrest. Right? Can't even leave. You got people that never see things that these other nations and people see. Right, you know?
But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes.
Right, it said a trembling heart, meaning what? It's talking about your mind. Right? Our mind trembles. Our mind, it's hard to be happy in this society. Consistent. Right? A lot of people say life is what you make it. For a temporary amount of time. Yeah. Until you gotta do what? Right back to reality. Right? Read.
And failing of eyes.
Right? It said in the failing of eyes. Read.
And sorrow of mind.
Right? It said sorrow of mind. Right? Now what people lead, if you know, what people lead when it comes to anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. For anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, our people do. Our people do, right? And a lot of our people don't even get help for it either. So really, those statistics should be way higher than they even are even now. But a lot of our men, we ain't gonna go and get sent into no place and sit down on the sofa with a man talking to us all day, right? Trying to go deep into our minds and stuff. We don't do that. Right? We don't get so-called help. Our help comes from the scriptures at the end of the day.
That's right.
At the end of the day, we don't do those different things. Right? We don't let them.
And thy life shall hang in doubt.
Right? Said our life shall hang in doubt. A lot of our men and young men in this society, guess what? They don't know if they're gonna make it to see their grandmothers. Right? They don't know if they're gonna make it to be able to see their kids with them. And I personally know 5 different people that died before they got to see their kid reach age 5. And they wasn't in their 30s. Only one of them was over the age of 25. So we don't get to see those different things. Our life does what? Hang in doubt. We get pulled over on the highways and we see those red and blue lights behind us. What we think? Oh man. Your heart start beating fast. You start sweating. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't even want to move. If one wrong move, hey, that might be your last move you make. So our life hangs in doubt as a people, right? You know?
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
Right? And we don't have any assurance of our life. We fear day and night, no matter on what fold you want to look at it. Right? Bring this up.
Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 5.
Yo.
Whose possessors slay them?
Right, it said whose possessors slay them. So earlier you mentioned it's not just because they leave. So we went into Isaiah chapter 42 and 22 where it talked about how they get thrown into prison houses. Now we're going into the other aspect of why our people grow up in single parent households. Right? It said whose possessors slay them. You know what that word slay means, right? It means to kill. Exactly. Right? It said whose possessors slay them, read.
And hold themselves not guilty.
Right? And who does that happen to? Who gets killed wrongfully? And then the one that does the killing, right? They don't really get a penalty for it. They get PTO, paid time off. Right? Our people, right? Those things happen to us, and then It's a big trial that happens, and then guess what? He get off free, right? Or he only get like 3 years. Murder supposed to be life, right? Read on.
And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich,
Right.
and their own shepherds pity them not.
The point is, they think they do a good thing by killing us.
Right. Believe the Lord.
Right? The men of the Lord in the scriptures, they dealt with the same things that our people deal with now today. Why? Because the people that wrote the scriptures are just like me and you. Understand? Our forefathers and foremothers wrote the Bible. Right? This is not a so-called white man's book like they say. Right? But let's get back to the point. Let's get back to the topic. So I agree with you. The point of saying that's about. I agree that it's not just because they leave it. Right? But they get thrown in the prison houses, they get wrongfully killed and murdered. So they don't even get to the point to where, hey, we have all our children growing up, they father and they mother in their house. Right, let's go back to Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
Go to
Deuteronomy 28:68. Now, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
right now. It said the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. We're gonna go into that word Egypt, all right, and break down what that word means. You understand? All right, give me 1 Kings chapter 8.
1 Kings 8:51.
Yo.
For they be thy people
Right.
and thy heritage, which thou broughtest forth out of Egypt.
Right, which thou broughtest forth out of Egypt, right? The Israelites were the ones that was led out of Egypt, right? From Moses. You understand? Right, you ever heard the story of Moses? Right, he parted the Red Sea, told Pharaoh, let my people go, right? That's what it's talking about right now, right? Read.
From the midst of the furnace of iron.
It said from the midst of the furnace of iron. Now, if I was to grab you, right, this person, give me,
This dude doesn't even know. I don't even think it's iron.
right, remember that. Remember furnace of iron.
Jeremiah 11:4. Which I command your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt.
Out of the land of Egypt.
From the iron furnace.
From the iron furnace. All throughout the scripture, you have that word Egypt being synonymous with bondage, slavery, being uncomfortable. Right? If I put you inside of an iron furnace, would you be comfortable? No. That's because that's how the Israelites was living when they was in the land of Egypt. It was uncomfortable.
Right.
Right? Why? Because they were slaves.
Right.
Right? They was in bondage, captivity. So now we're going to put it in context in Deuteronomy chapter 28:68. All right?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
Now you remember what the word Egypt means? You said, huh? Right, exactly. Yeah, you are from Pittsburgh. I heard the accent. Yeah, I do not like how y'all pronounce y'all. Y'all say bondage and come on, things like that. Right, but it said, right, it's like, read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
Right, meaning bondage, slavery, captivity, being uncomfortable, read.
Again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Now when you read the rest of this Bible, they didn't go into Egypt by way of ships.
Right.
So it's not talking about physically going into the land of Egypt. That's right. It's talking about going into bondage. But it said with ships this time. So now my question to you is, what people went into slavery by way of ships? That's right. That's right. The so-called blacks, the Hispanics, and Native Americans, they went into slavery by ships too.
Right.
Right? They got conquered by that conquistador. Right? So everybody in the world doesn't fit that prophecy. The so-called white man don't fit that prophecy. The Asian man don't fit it. The East Indian man don't fit it. The so-called Arab man don't fit it. They don't fit that prophecy. Right? Which was written over 3,000 years ago. Moses prophesied and said to the Israelites, because he's speaking to the Israelites, not the whole world. Right. He's speaking to the Israelites and told the Israelites that if you don't do God's commandments, right, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but if you don't do God's commandments, you're going to go into slavery with ships. And didn't that happen to us? So what would that make us? Are we still African Americans? That's right. That's right. So our position, that would make us Israelites according to the Bible. Right? Not black people. Black is the color of the crayon box.
Right.
Right? She's not the color of her jumpsuit. Right? See the Nike jumpsuit. She's not that color. Right? See, we're all different shades of brown.
That's right.
Right? We can't speak the language black. We can't go to the land called black. If you go to the airport and you leave Indianapolis, Indiana, you go to the airport and you go up there and say, I want 3 tickets to the land of black. They're gonna drug test you. Right? Because you can't do it. You can't go there. There's not black is a representation of nothing. Literally. So we call ourselves black, we call ourselves nothing. Easy. Right? Citizens. So we can't call us, we are no longer black. Right? As an uneducated term. And that's a byword, essentially. A byword is being called something that you're not. Right? And I'm not going to call y'all black people. Y'all not black people. You understand? Y'all shouldn't want to call yourselves black people. Y'all not black people.
Right.
And so shouldn't want to call yourselves African. Y'all not Africans either. And y'all not African Americans. Right? What are you? Can't find any of those terms in the Bible. So when your daughter asks you, Mommy, what did God call us? You gotta say, well, what you gonna tell her? Ask her right now. Ask her, say, what did God call me? You say what?
That's right.
That's right. Oh, I don't.
Like this, so
You say, huh?
I've never heard it presented this way.
Well, all praise to the Most High. Yeah, and look, there's nothing wrong with doing research on it, right? We actually encourage our people to do that, right? Because anybody could just be telling y'all anything. I could have told y'all that we was Edomites, and if it sounds good, y'all would have been like, damn, yeah, but we not. So. But all these things that we tell y'all is coming out of the Bible at the end of the day. So I would encourage y'all to continue to do research on it, continue to learn, because at the end of the day, it's your history, right? We don't have black history. We don't have African American history, right? African American history don't start till 1986, because that's when that term was invented. Black history didn't start till, or color history didn't start till the 60s, because that's when they started calling us colored. Right? You remember you had the whites only, and then you had color only. Black history didn't start to the 40s, back into the 20s. Right? And then Negroes, that didn't start till 1619 when we came over here.
Right.
So if you go past 1619, what would we call ourselves? You see that? All right, go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 16.
Take it out.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
And what?
And read.
What?
And read.
Right? And you ever had somebody tell you reading is fundamental? Hey, that's how reading the scriptures are. Right? It's your life at the end of the day. You literally reading your history. Right, Reno? Or is that it?
No one of these shall fail.
Right? It said none of these shall fail. Meaning none of the things that's in this Bible is gonna fail you at the end of the day. The prophecy's not gonna fail, right? The wise sayings not gonna fail. The instructions, the laws, statutes, and commandments, none of these different things are gonna fail, right? And I'm gonna get ready to close with this with you. Earlier I asked you, are you for your people? You said I would like to think so. So now I'm going to tell you how you can get your people out of this position. Because what got us in this position? Do you remember? We said it probably about a couple. You said what? Right. Why are we cursed?
That's right. That's right.
Exactly. We cursed because we didn't do what the Lord told us to do, which was keep the commandments. So if that's what got us in this position, what's going to get us out? Is it marching? You said what? Keeping the commandments. They don't grasp it. Why? Real quick, give me Isaiah chapter, I believe I'm on 56. Let me see. I think I'm on 56.
Isaiah 54:15.
Get out.
Behold, they shall surely gather together.
Right, this is the Lord talking about the Israelites. He said, behold, they shall surely gather together. Meaning, yeah, our people, we do gather together. Right? Well, you're not from here, but I'm pretty sure they did something in Pittsburgh too. You remember like 3 years ago, I believe it was, 3.5 years ago maybe, when that George Floyd incident happened and everybody in all the states was marching and protesting and burning down buildings and this and that and that and this, right? That was us gathered together as a people. But did that change anything? It didn't change nothing at all, not even close, right? They did all that burning buildings down, like all these buildings don't have insurance, right? So the Lord said, behold, they shall surely gather together, read.
But not by me.
But what?
But not by me.
It said, but not by me, meaning what? Our people don't gather together in unison to say, all right, come on, man, we got to keep these commandments.
Right.
Have you ever heard somebody on a public platform say that? Hey, all my so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we got to keep the commandments so we can get out of this position that we in as a people. Nah, they don't say that. What they say, we got to sign legislation bills. We gotta have our people get in the White House. We gotta have our people get in the Senate seats. We gotta march A, B, and C. Right? The list goes on and on. Right? And our people that's insanity. That's the definition of insanity. Continue doing something that's not gonna change. And expecting a different, like you said, expecting a different result. That's the definition, actually. Right? So it's insanity to continue marching. It's insanity to think that these people can help us, essentially. Right? It's insanity to keep trying the same stuff and it's not changing nothing. That's insanity. Because what did the word say? We got to get from the top.
Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me.
He said, but not by me. Read.
Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake.
It said, whoever is going to gather together against thee is going to fall for thy sake. Meaning anything that you do in life that does not involve the Most High God, you're working against him. If you're talking about going to sign legislation bills, guess what? You're working against the Most High.
Right?
Why? Give me Isaiah chapter 31.
Bring it out. Bring it out.
Give me Isaiah 31. And give me Lamentations chapter 2 or 14.
Isaiah 31 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
Woe to them.
What did he say?
Woe to them.
Woe, the word woe means destruction. He said woe, meaning destruction unto them that what?
That go down to Egypt for help.
Right? And this is spiritual Egypt. That's not talking about the literal land of Egypt. If you got a dollar bill, if you look on the back of your dollar bill, it's a pyramid on the back. If we're in America, and this is American currency, why is there a pyramid on the back of the dollar bill? Because this is spiritual Egypt. Right? So it said, woe unto them that go down to Egypt, read.
For help.
For what?
For help.
Meaning, woe unto the people that seek to this people, this government for help. Read.
And stay on horses. And trust in chariots.
And trust in what?
And trust in chariots.
Meaning they trust in the government. They trust in these fighter jets. They trust in the military. They trust in these different things. Read.
Because they are many.
Right.
And horsemen. Because they are very strong.
Right.
But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel.
It said, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, meaning they don't look unto the Most High God. Our people think because they pray in the morning and then they pray before they go to sleep at night, that means they're good. There's more to it than that. Right? If that was the case, you should be straight. Everybody do that pretty much. Right?
Neither seek the Lord.
Right? It said, neither seek the Lord. Because our people don't do that nowadays. What they do, they look for vain help. Right? Our people look essentially to these people. Let's just keep it how it is. They look into these people for help, which is what the government. Right? They look for Joe Biden. Right? A lot of our people voted thinking Joe Biden was gonna help us. Right? A lot of people voted thinking what? Obama was gonna help us. Right? Right? All these different people, and guess what? That's insanity. We've had how many presidents in I don't know.
50, 52.
Brother Short?
Yeah.
All right. 52 presidents. I don't know. You in school. You in school. 45 or
46 because they call me 45. 46.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, brothers.
Trump was Trump was 45.
Oh, I said 50. I said, huh?
This brother said 51. He said 50.
So how many?
I said, I don't know.
46. So we've had 46 different presidents. And nothing has changed when it comes to our history. When it comes, none of those presidents have helped us get out of the situation. So why do we continue to keep looking towards these presidents, towards the government, towards A, B, and C for help, instead of looking to the one that's doing everything to us? Right? Let me ask you a question. Right? What's your name? If you don't mind me asking. Jayla. Okay. So you get in trouble with your mom, right? And well, I don't know about you, but I speak for myself, right? And you can tell me if you've done this before, or she gonna tell me if you've done it before. Right? So when I got in trouble when I was younger, years ago, and I wanted to go do something, what would I do? I would clean the whole house up. I would, Mommy, do you need anything? All right, well, I clean the dishes and I sweat and I vacuum. Right? Why? Because you're trying to get on their good side, right? Have you done that before? Yeah. So what do you think we should do now in order to get on the Lord's side? Clean the whole house. Clean what? Keep these laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
Start seeking and begging the Most High God. Right? You cleave unto your mother when you want to do something, right? You cleave unto her. Now, look, I did all my chores. I sweat. I vacuum. My room is clean. I did all that. Can I go? Right? So that's how we got to do to the Most High God.
Right.
Right? But in righteousness, meaning we got to what? We got to make sure we're praying these last days. We got to keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, loving our people, being for our people, and helping our people so we can get out of this situation. Right? Now I'm going to give you a couple more, right? Deuteronomy 30 and 1, and then I'm going to start commandments.
Deuteronomy 30 and verse 1. Now it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing.
Are we living in the blessing right now? No, we're not. Read.
And the curse.
And the what?
And the curse.
And the curse right now, are we? So he said, when these things come upon you, right, read.
Which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations.
And that's what we do now. That's what y'all doing right now. Y'all don't even really know. Y'all calling to mind these different things among the nations. Are we among the nations? Don't they call America a melting pot? Right. Because all the nations are here. Right? There you go right there. Right? So we're calling these things to mind among the nations. All these brothers you see up here right now have called these things to mind. Right? Meaning, dang, damn it this way. This do make sense. Hey, we got to keep the commandments in order to get out of this situation. We got to do A, B, and C. We got to stop doing this. Right? Read on.
Whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee.
Right?
And shall return unto the Lord thy God. And shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day.
Meaning keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments and having faith in him, read.
Thou and thy children with all thy heart, with all thy soul. Then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity.
Will turn thy captivity.
So when our people begin to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments and have faith in him and continue to do the things that are pleasing in the Most High God's eyes, he'll begin to turn our captivity. Right? And our captivity is already turning before your eyes. That's why now, right, I'm going to call it how it is, that's why now you'll start to see more so-called homeless white men now. Right? Holding signs on the freeway, right, the corners. You start to see, right, when not too long ago when the so-called white man, they had a real bad opioid crisis, right? And when all the so-called white men, they was dying from the opioid drug, right? These plagues that's coming upon the earth, COVID, all these now you got monkeypox, right? This government, or not the government, the stock market is crashing, literally, right? Famine is coming into the land, right? Shortages is coming out now. Canada got a whole nation over there is in the power outage right now. And guess what? It's coming to America next. Right? All these wars that's rising up right now, you think it's never going to come to America? You think America's never going to get involved with Russia? I don't know if you pay attention to stuff like that, but it's only a matter of time. Right? Because why the Lord is turning our captivity? Because the fall of America is going to be what? The rising of our nation.
That's right.
That's prophecy. It has to be that way. Because the earth was given to us at the end of the day.
Right.
The earth is literally our inheritance. But, hey, this, what we see now, all these different things gotta fall in order for us to rise.
Right.
Right? I don't want none of these buildings. Right? These different buildings, I don't want them. Right? We're gonna have our own people. Right? And that's what y'all have to look forward to. But the point is, right, the Lord is gonna turn our captivity when we start doing what? That's right. That's keeping the commandments. Right? And teach men and your children so. Right, you know?
And have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations.
Right? And the Lord is going to return and gather us from all the nations, because we're not just in America. We everywhere. We in Australia, France, Scotland, Europe, Asia, China, Canada. Right?
Whether the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. If any of thy, verse 7, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses.
All these what?
All these curses.
Right? It said the Lord, right, will put all these curses, read,
upon thy enemies.
Upon thy enemies.
So the things that happen to us, the Lord is going to put on our oppressors. Because that's righteousness at the end of the day. That's judgment or justice. Right? If somebody kills somebody in your family that you love, you will want justice for that, right? Even when somebody gets locked up, they still don't get happiness from that. They don't feel like justice was served. As George Floyd's parents, right? They don't feel like justice was served, right? And he didn't even get a lot of years, right? You said what?
This is federal case.
So 21 years?
And it's concurrent with the state, whatever the
Hey,
case was.
that's madness. That's madness. 21 years. You got people, I know people personally that got life. Life for murder. But you see that? He did 21 years. And you know with good behavior, they get what? Chopped down throughout the years. So these different things is going to come upon our enemies. Why? Because that's the way the Lord set it up at the end.
Right.
Right? We're not going to be at the bottom forever. You think God is going to have his chosen people at the bottom of society forever? Right? That makes no sense. Right? It don't make sense. These people got to rise at some point in time. It's going to start with their downfall. Right? And they know America is falling. Right? America is not how it was 20 years ago. Right? Everybody, they didn't even say America. They said America. And they had pride in America. Now, guess what? You got everybody rising up against America because of the abortion appeal. Right? They hate America. They say, stop celebrating July 4th. This their own people saying that.
Right.
Their own people saying that stuff. Why? Because it has to happen. It's prophecy. Right? Bring this up. It's all good. You got that. We gotta get some. We gonna get them some commandments and then we're gonna let them. Right? Some commandments. Hold that.
Leviticus 11 and verse 7.
Bring it out.
And it reads thus, and the swine.
What?
And the swine.
Right? You know what swine is? Right. It is. It's pork. Right? Read.
Though he divide the hoof.
Do you eat it? Okay.
I know
Read.
my
Hey, read.
Though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed,
Yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you.
He is unclean to you.
Right? The Lord says he's unclean unto you. Right? Because pigs don't properly digest their food. Right? And they don't sweat. So all those toxins and different things that's inside of the pig, right, stays within it. No matter how many times you clean them chitlins, guess what? They still gonna be unclean.
Right.
Right? Give me Job 14 and 4. Job 14 and 4.
This is the book of Job, chapter 14, and verse number 4.
Bring it out.
Who can bring a clean thing?
Oh, what?
Who can bring a clean thing?
Right? It said a clean thing
Out of an unclean?
out of an unclean thing.
Not one.
Not what?
Not one.
Not one. So if something is deemed unclean, not to me, but to the Lord, that means it's unclean. And there's nothing you can do about it. I can literally wash a pig every day for 365 days a year. Guess what? It's still gonna be unclean. Right? Because nobody, you can't change the words of the Lord. You can't change the judgment of the Most High God. Right? Of what He has set forth. Right? So now back to this.
Of their flesh ye shall not eat, and their carcass
Ye shall not touch.
They are unclean to you.
Right? It said they are unclean unto you. So we can't eat pork. Right? And it's okay. Right? Because, well, first of all, the reason why our people love eating pork now is because they force fed us. Right? They force fed us pork when we was in slavery. Right? Right? So when they did that for so long, guess what? You just took a liking to it over time. That's all we can eat. Right? Not only that, you eat bacon, sausage, ribs, right? Pepperoni, all these different things can be substituted. You ever had turkey bacon? Right? It's just better. Honestly, you ask me. Right? Right? You got chicken bacon, right? You got beef bacon, you got beef sausage, right? You got turkey sausage, turkey pepperoni, beef pepperoni.
Making small adjustments like that.
All praises.
I don't do it. I'm not ready.
Hey, you gotta work towards that though. You gotta work towards that. Because at the end of the day, it's bad for you. That's why our people leave when it comes to high blood pressure, high cholesterol, gout, all these diabetes, all these different things. Why? Because our people continue to eat the things that the Lord told us not to eat. You understand? And what am I gonna say? You got beef tips, you got beef ribs.
Yeah.
Well, I just made some beef ribs the other day. Right? And bangers too. Right? Ain't no more left. Right? So, it's the thing. These things can be substituted. You understand? So it's not like it's the end of the world because you can't eat pork anymore. Right? These things we can put from behind us. Right? You know?
God.
All right, don't walk.
So are you?
No, y'all go in front.
God, verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
Right.
Whatsoever have fins and scales, and in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
Right? So what type of fish got fins and scales? You ever had salmon before?
I got salmon again.
You got salmon? Hey, all breakers, right? That got fins and scales.
Oh.
That's lawful for you to be able to eat.
That's
Right? Big mouth bass,
Right.
bluegill,
Right.
tilapia.
Right.
These different things have fins and scales. And it's lawful for us as people to be able to eat them. Now watch this. Read.
And all that have not fins and scales, in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
So the Lord said if they don't have fins and scales, it's an abomination unto you. So what fish in the seas don't have fins and scales?
You ain't supposed to push your religion in this country, right?
It's not a religion.
Don't push nothing over this country.
Freedom of religion,
right?
Right? Freedom of any belief, right? Brother, no. You are Israelite, brother. And if you don't get right, brother, the Lord gonna come back and there's gonna be consequences. And I said that very, very nicely for the sake of children.
Doing something else right now,
Right.
you know what I mean?
So it ain't freedom at the end of the day. What doesn't have fins and scales? I know y'all know fish that don't have fins and scales.
Well, I'm not thinking of, well, I don't know what's considered. But when we was talking,
It said or anything that moves in the water.
we were talking about trying to find seafood things. That's why I looked at it.
Why you wanted a seafood place? What tastes good? What type of seafood?
I don't know, like the crab.
Ah.
And see that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew about pork.
But See, you gotta realize though, what does a crab look like? A spider. And where they at? Have you ever seen a crab swimming at the top of the ocean? Nah, where they at? The bottom. Why? Because they bottom feeders, right? They're the insects of the ocean, right? You ever seen crawfish? It look like what? Roaches, right? That's because that's what they are essentially. You gotta realize, everybody complains about the oceans being dirty. Oh, we have to save Mother Earth. We have to take care of the oceans and the seas, right? But then what they do? They go to these different, the Gulf of Mexico, they go to the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and what they do? Take all the shrimp, crab, and lobster, which is AKA all the fish that cleans the oceans, and they take it out and serve it to the people.
Right.
And then complain about the oceans being dirty. And if they clean the oceans, meaning the dirt,
The poop.
and you go and eat that fish that's been cleaning and eating the dirt, then what you eating? See that?
Bring that out.
Right.
So it's essentially what? Just no different from a pig. And a pig can eat anything. Literally. They'll eat a dead body, they'll eat manure. You never heard of that? Yeah. That's why they let them roam around, because they clean up the farm. They'll eat anything. They'll manure and then turn around and eat the manure. Right? And guess what? All those, the shrimp, crab, lobster, and all that different stuff, what do you think happened to the manure that the fish dropped in the sea when they swim? You think it just go down to the bottom and don't nothing happen to it? Nah, who eat it? The shrimp, the crab, the lobster. They eat it. And they eat good. Right? So we can't do those different things. Right? But on a serious note, these are all the reasons why our people dying before the age of 55. With different infirmities that they deal with in their body. Because we continue to eat the things that the Lord told us not to eat as a people. And see what they do, what this place does is they use reverse psychology. They make shrimp, crab, and lobster what? A delicacy. Oh yeah, I've been eating good. I've been eating shrimp, crab, lobster, and all this other different stuff. So now what our people want to do? We want to live fancy. We like to live nice. So what we gonna do? Order shrimp, crab, and lobster. All the stuff that the Lord told his people, not the whole world, but his people, the Israelites, not to eat. Why do you think he told us not to eat those things? Well, right, they are important. Watch this.
This is Psalms of David, chapter 50, verse 2.
Bring it out.
Out of Zion.
What?
Out of Zion.
It's talking about Israel, read.
The
Perfection of beauty.
What?
The perfection of beauty.
It said out of Zion, which is Israel, the perfection of beauty, read.
Have
God has
shone.
It said God has shined. Meaning what? If the Lord called us the perfection of beauty, why would we go and associate ourselves with something as filthy as a pig?
Right.
That's kind of backwards, ain't it? That's working against what? The Lord. Why would we go associate, if y'all will call yourself princesses or queens, right? You said you don't? You don't feel like you're a princess?
No, I've
No, I'm saying you feel that way though, right? Let me put it like this. Would you consider yourself a peasant or a princess? I'm not saying you call yourself that, but I'm just saying that because essentially that's what we are as a people, right? We're kings, princes, and princesses, right? Why? Because of who our father is, right? Our father, he the what? He the main king, right? He the head honcho, the one in charge. And if we're his sons and daughters, then that makes us what? Kings, princes, and princesses, right? So if you that, right? We can't associate ourselves with crabs, lobsters, shrimp, pork, right? We can't do those different things. Why? Because the Lord called us the perfection of beauty, right? And if we the perfection of beauty, hey, we gotta walk in that, right? And at the end of the day, that's our wisdom in the sight of the nations, right? That's our wisdom in the sight. It say that
Deuteronomy, 2nd law, chapter 4 and verse 6.
Bring it out.
It reads this: keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. Your
wisdom.
and your understanding
In the sight of the nations.
Meaning what? These commandments that we giving y'all is our wisdom in the sight of the nations.
Right.
When they look at us as a people now, they say, because they don't know how to act. They don't know what's going on. Look at them ladies. Acting like some niggas. Right? They see our women twerking on top of cars. Right? They see our the mass of our people, of our women following people like Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Doja Cat, right? All these different people, and they flock towards them, and all they do is teach them how to be
Wicked.
not a woman, right? So these laws, statutes, and commandments is the wisdom in the sight of the other nations, right? So not eating shrimp, pork, crab, lobster is wisdom, right? And it's your heritage at the end of the day, because your forefathers and foremothers didn't eat those different foods, right? In the ancient world, your people, they didn't eat that. We didn't eat that as a people. It's our culture at the end of the day. You know how you got different cultures that eat certain foods, like, it is what it is. So-called Chinese, man, they like to eat bat soup.
You can go through, sis.
That's a part of their culture. It ain't a part of our culture. You gonna eat bat soup, sister?
If it's not one of those, it fell out whenever. So.
Right? That's not a part of our culture, though, at the end of the day. What is a part of our culture? Lamb, right? Oxen, ram, right? All these different things. This is what we eat as a people. Right? You know?
Con. And understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation.
This what?
Surely a nation.
Nobody calls us that. Nobody looks at us and says, man, that's a great nation of people.
Right.
They don't do that. Why? Because our women too busy twerking on cars, our men too busy selling drugs, shooting at each other, and gang banging up each other over street signs that don't belong to us. And colors. And out. So they're not looking at us like, man, that's a great nation of people. Nah, Marie.
Surely this great nation is
A wise and understanding people.
That's how they should be looking at us. Right. But they're not going to do that until we want to start keeping these laws. Right? So would y'all be willing to stop eating shrimp, crab, lobster, right? Yeah. And at the end of the day, that don't mean you can't eat any fish. Right? Earlier we went through the type of fish that you can eat, but we named only a couple of them. But you got salmon in your to-go box right there. Right? You can eat salmon. I love salmon personally. It's one of my favorite fish. Right? Tilapia, big mouth bass, so on and so forth. If it got fin, whiting, if it got fins and scales, you eat it. Right? Hey, do your thing. But no catfish, shrimp, crab, or lobster. Right? You can't eat those different things. Alright? Y'all be willing to do that for the Lord. I told y'all life depended on it. Because it literally does. Right? On the serious note. Right? Now, that's one commandment. Right?
Leviticus 19 and 16.
Get out.
Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer.
Right, you know what a talebearer is? Right? Somebody that tells secrets. Runs their mouth. Gossip. You understand? So a lot of people don't even know that this is a commandment that the Lord told our people not to be gossiping. Right? A talebearer. You let somebody tells you a secret and you go and tell somebody else. Right? That's literally against the commandments. Right? You can't do those different things. And guess what? I'm here to pick on y'all for a little minute. Not y'all personally, but women. Our women got a bad habit of it. For some reason, I don't know why, but our women always got teeth. Alright, I don't know what it means, but they always got teeth.
Mark's older brother was his
Right?
cousin.
So we gotta stop having teeth. Right? You can't have teeth no more. You got ears to hear. Right? Meaning we gotta be all that gossiping, all that this and that. You can't do that stuff no more. Right? Why? Because that's a commandment. And that's a simple commandment that our people never think about as being a commandment. Right? But when you say that that's something that's easy to do, it's easy to not tell somebody secret. Right? Somebody tell me something, guess what? I gotta go to the grave with me. Right? If this brother tell me something, guess what? Between me and this brother. Alright? He tell me, look, hey, it's between me and you, but I got A, B, and C. Right? And guess what? It's gonna stay between me and him. Him and H. Me and him. Understand? Right?
Among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor.
Meaning being a false accuser. But it means says stand against the blood of thy neighbor. Right? No false accuser. No saying, oh, she did this when she really didn't do it. Right? Or he did this when he really didn't do it. That's against the commandments too. False accuser. Right? And essentially you're a liar. Right? We can't be doing, we can't be doing shit. Bring this out.
First Peter chapter 4 and verse number 15.
Bring it out.
But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters.
Right, so you can't be a busybody in other people's matters. Meaning if it ain't none of your business, then hey, leave it alone. At the end of the day. Right? Oh, you got it.
Because our women, they'll sit there and try to provoke them and be like, oh, nah, go ahead and tell me. You know I'll keep it with you, whatever the case may be. I'll keep the secret safe. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. Just like the brother was going into.
Yeah, that's hard.
Deuteronomy 22 and 5. The woman shall not wear that
which pertaineth unto a man. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garments.
Now, if a man put on a woman's garment, what do you think that would look like?
It looks like people will question.
Well, I'm saying, literally, what would he have on? Skirt or a dress, right? We're going to read this again, right? And this brother going to read it slow. And I want y'all to break down the first part. Can y'all do that? Y'all better have a good teamwork this whole time. I want y'all to do this, right? Read it again. Read it slow.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
All right, what is that talking about?
I take it to when I was growing up, like women know who a man is.
Right. That's
I don't
right.
know what else it would be besides men.
You'd be surprised what we hear people say. Right? You'd be surprised. But that is what it's going into. If you look at any pictures from the so-called old times, not even really old times, but the early 1900s into the 1800s, what did our women always have on? Skirts and dresses. Why? Because they understood that. That was common knowledge back then. But now, guess what? People don't do that anymore. Why? Because led by a so-called lesbian woman, right? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, after World War I, when the men had to go and fight in the war, you had the women that had to go into the factories and start working. And essentially, they became the ones that was taking care of the household, so they put pants on. And this movement was started by a lesbian woman when she started fighting for women's rights. Women start putting on the pants, and that's where you get the term, right? I wear the pants in this relationship from. It's masculinity at the end of the day, right? If you say I wear the pants in this relationship, what are you referring to? What are you saying? Exactly. Exactly. You're usurping authority over the man. Right? And that's not how it's going to be, because the Lord deals with order at the end of the day. We're not saying that a woman doesn't have a voice. Right? You have women in the scripture who is prophetess. Right? Many women that in the scripture that was prophetess. Right? That's Isaiah 8 and 1 on down. Right? Judges 4 and 4. Book of Acts. You have many people or women who was prophetess in the scriptures. Right? Moses' sister was a prophetess. Right? But you have to understand there's an order at the end of the day.
Right.
Right? So the women, right, are not supposed to be wearing pants. Right? Because one, that's
Still
a
trying to
custom.
figure her out.
That's not ours. That custom was started by their so-called white man and woman. Right? Not our woman. Right? And I've never seen a princess wear pants. Right? Did you go to prom, sister, when you was younger? Right? Did you have pants on when you went to prom? Nah, you had a beautiful dress on, I'm sure, right? And you felt like you was all that in the bag of hot Cheetos, right?
I was.
God, she said I was. Hey, God, right? All praise, right? So we gotta get back in the habit of that at the end of the day. There's nothing wrong with wearing a dress, right? It's a beautiful thing to wear a dress. Y'all daughters of the Most High God. Y'all are literally princesses of the Most High God.
Painful.
You said it's painful? Nah, you good. I'm just saying. Hey, there's a lot of things that I had to stop personally. But guess what? I'm like, man, hey, if I really love the Lord,
Y'all can go
I'm
through.
gonna take this serious. And hey, guess what? I'm going head first, 10 toes down for it, right? Guess what? The weed I had to put away to the side, right? Fornication, guess what? Put that to the side. All these different things, guess what? I had to put off, right? Because at the end of the day, I care about my life, right? And making the Most High God happy more than I care about the pleasures of this life.
Bring that out.
Right? Hey, you said you was all that in the bag of hot Cheetos, but you had to dress on. So, hey, be that every day.
Right.
Be that every day then. Be all that in the bag of hot Cheetos every day. You understand?
Also, wearing pants as a woman also helps build bacteria. That's how women get frequently infections, yeast infections, because when they got pants on, it's smothering up the cavity. So that's the reason why it's good to wear dresses as well. Keep, stay free and breezy.
Hey, oh, there you go.
A quick point on top of that too, to add on to what you were saying.